Hi. How you doing? How you be? Top to the AB. Hope everybody had a good day at work and or school and or other. And today is Redfall Day. I don't know what that is, but essentially that is a video game that just came out and we're going to support it and try to help as many people as we can right after this. Hi, I'm Anthony. And if you are new here, consider subscribing. We actually troubleshoot and help people with their technical issues and PC gaming issues. And subscribing will help us grow the channel and help more people. Thanks. Forum, how you doing? How you be? Top to the AB. Hope everybody had a good day at work and or school and or other. My name is Anthony, or The Open Forum, and we are gaming adjacent. Essentially, we help people with their technical issues, PC issues, this, that, and the other. And today, Redfall launch, which is a game that we talked about whenever their trailer was out, and I haven't actually went back to it, but apparently it seems to be pretty big because I mean it was on IGN, so I mean that means that you're decently big. So let's go ahead and check out the trailer, and then we'll go ahead and jump on to some Redfall tickets and see if we can help some people. So without further ado, here, bow and bow. This is 4K, so I don't know why it's so blurry.
Vampires, cultists, psychic phenomena. Never seen anything like it.
This is not the Redfall I remember.
Ever forward! No one is coming to help you. There is no death for us. It's the four of us against the darkness.
No matter how many you kill, there will always be more.
You wish you were one of us. Oh, you'll wish for it when you
Ooh.
You are in the presence of a god.
That was the dopest thing ever. Oh my god. Yo, that was so clean. I was trying to see if there was pre-orders. I'm so behind this. That was so clean. Oh my god, I'm not even done with Star Wars Jedi Survivor, but I'm so buying that. Oh my god, that was freaking amazing. Okay, all right. Well, yeah, Redfall. It just launched today, and I haven't had a chance to look at it since the original trailer launch, but yeah, that looks sick. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I guess that's what we're doing today. So let's go ahead and check a look. I put it on our Ryzen build, so Windows 10. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and take a look at this guy here. All right, that looks good. Alrighty. Didn't I? Yeah, I did. Why does Steam always need an update? Just explain to me that. Okay, Redfall Community Hub. Let's make sure everybody's good to go here. Discussions. Optimization guy. Are you guys ever going to play in Japanese? Looking for players? Can Bethesda be trusted anymore? Yo, that's a pretty good question. I avoided buying this game because I no longer trust Bethesda. to release quality products, and sure enough, they did it again. Does anyone actually trust Bethesda anymore if they're allowing games like this to come out? Can you trust them to release Starfield at an acceptable level of quality? If they manage to screw this up, their larger games are going to be nightmares. Bethesda knew this was coming. That's why they block reviews before release, and they think people are just going to accept an apology that is coming in a day or two. Wow. I mean, there's some Bethesda games that are pretty good, but I mean, okay, for me personally, I don't usually pre-order games because I've been disappointed before. Okay, now, do I consider, like, for example, The Last of Us 2? I get that that's not Bethesda, but I'm just using it as an example. The Last of Us 2 versus The Last of Us 1, right? Most people thought The Last of Us 1 was a masterpiece. Last of Us 2, not so much. But nobody thought it was, like, terrible, you know? It's just, you know, maybe people had issues here and there. But when you compare it to The Last of Us 1, it wasn't the same. Now, the only games that I think of that have sequels that are better than the original is like Mass Effect, right? So like Mass Effect 3, but some people would even argue Mass Effect 1 was better than Mass Effect 3. So you know, those kind of situations, but you generally don't run into that too much. So for me personally, I don't usually pre-order a game unless I know that it's going to be great. Like for example, I would pre-order a Nintendo game, but I wouldn't pre-order anything that wasn't Nintendo or Nintendo. I may pre-order Final Fantasy games just sometimes, you know, because Final Fantasy over the years, if you think about like every Final Fantasy game that has come out, all of them have been somewhat good. You may want to say anything with Lightning may have been kind of iffy, but Lightning in and of herself, she wasn't exactly she was like Cloud, right? Where they're not very interesting characters. Sephiroth made Cloud interesting, but Cloud on its own isn't all that interesting. Lightning is an interesting character, but she never had a boss that made Lightning interesting. Does that make sense? Lightning and Cloud are basically mirrors of each other. It's just that Cloud had Sephiroth, and Sephiroth was crazy evil and super awesome, and Lightning had exactly, and that's why people don't like Lightning as much. So if Lightning had a Sephiroth version of her of a boss that she fought and continuously fought through all the iterations of Lightning and her sister, then that would be something. But they all fought different bosses. None of them were really all that memorable. Like I don't remember off the top of my head, so I always rank it like that. Like Final Fantasy though, overall, even though the characters may be here and there sometimes, I would pre-order that one. But though outside of them two, like anything with Nintendo and Final Fantasy, I don't really pre-order anymore. I don't see a point to it. Not the way things are rolling now. But also, all right. But yeah, let's see what everybody else had to say on that one. Doom, yeah, Doom was pretty good. Even though I don't like me and Doom. I want to play Doom. Like, don't get me wrong, I do have Doom and Doom Eternal, but Doom, like, I don't like the whole idea of just going to a box, kill everything, go into a box, kill everything, so on and so forth. It was kind of annoying to me. I didn't really dig it all that much, and plus, I never really had a chance to sit down and just take a look at it. Unwanted Redfall item drops. It's really not that bad. Oh, some people really don't like it. So it's really not that bad. Maybe it's not worth $70, but it's really not that bad. I played for just over 4 hours and I enjoyed it quite a bit. I'm really not sure what all the hate is for. I'll report back tomorrow after I played it more, but y'all need to calm down. Not sure either. It runs fine. I rated it down though because you can't really release a 4-player cooperative game and not have matchmaking. Oh, okay. If they fix that and throw 1 million vampires at my group, I will be fairly happy. At least you got to play and mine keeps crashing. Okay, well, what's the issue? Do you just not see more than 30 FPS or something? The game is in awful state of release. In fact, you have to update their DLSS just to get any good frame rates. They want 60 to 70 FPS for this game, and it doesn't even run on most hardware consistently. Well, I would say that whenever I was going through and picking up all our tickets and everything, I did see somebody post that they did a pre-download of Redfall, and upon launch day, it had a 70 gig update. So that lets you know, hey, they are still trying to work on it, you know. But I mean, that's kind of a lot of Bethesda games are like that, where they're not really ready come launch, and then they'll just fix it along the way because they want to make money right then and there. So, you know, but nobody's really telling me issues. This game is okay if you can actually play it. I ran into glitches within the first 3 hours, at least 2 to 3, crashes twice within the first 3 hours, and the abilities just aren't very impressive. Not to mention the AI is dumb. Like if the AI in Cyberpunk 2077 is better than your AI, you need to get some help. It's basically Cyberpunk 2077 if there was such a thing. Wow. Okay. Well, nobody's really talking about issues here. So, boycott AAA. Since I can't leave a review, it seems. Did they lock it? This looks like woke trash. I'll skip it. Everyone complaining about a $70 price tag. Yo, I wasn't too happy about the $70 price tag on Jedi Survivor. I downloaded that and I was just like, ooh, Lord, this is starting to get real expensive. Like every game is $100 and it's just like, man, like goodness gracious, like we'll play or download or troubleshoot a game and like, you know, there may be like 15 good game launches a year. That's like almost $1,500 or $1,400 that you will be spending on video games. Like it's getting up there, man. They're like, for this will no longer be the cheapest hobby you could have. You know, you got to think of like dating, relationships. You got to look at archery, shooting, driving, fishing. Of all the hobbies that men and women have, video games have always been the cheapest. And I don't think that's going to be the case anymore. Now, you can, if you throw in computers with video games, okay, now you got me. Now there's maybe some cheaper ones like fishing, but fishing is still quite expensive. So it used to be the cheapest game, especially when you just had like an Xbox or a PlayStation 5. It was one of the cheapest hobbies you can get into. And then people complain about it like, oh my God, why are you playing video games? Well, because video games only cost me, you know, 50, 60 bucks. Whereas if I go do something else or go out to a club or go this or go that, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Even going out on a date is like $100. So it's like, hey, you know, I'd rather save myself that $40, $50 and just sit here and play this video game and enjoy myself, you know, especially when they have games that have co-op. But, you know, this isn't exactly the type of co-op that you can actually get someone else to play. But still, you know, it's kind of interesting. Increased price, decreased quality, AAA games in 2023. If you are thinking about buying this game or on the, okay, I gotta read it because I mean, hey, we gotta read it if they're gonna put it that way. Can y'all see that? Why did it switch off? Oh, my bad. I pressed the wrong button. If you are thinking about buying this game or on the fence for any reason, don't. Oh, wow. It's crazy how unoptimized this game is. I pulled out a sniper rifle to snipe enemies and I'm seeing enemies sliding across my screen from time to time with no animation. All the jitters and hiccups from the time with the frame rate, the map feels empty, and to top it all off, I strolled into a random cave and heard the sound of me alerting a vampire. I turn around and I'm literally in melee distance from it and it's looking around to see where I am. I can't believe they are charging $70 for this mess. This isn't even worth it on a steep sale. Well, okay, so all we've gathered really is a bunch of people that are mad that it's really, really buggy. Some do like it, but most people just think it's buggy. I passed up Jedi for this. No, don't do that. Jedi Survivor is freaking awesome. Now, it has its own problems, but its problems are at the higher end. It's not at the medium levels. Like, in other words, if you change your settings to medium and you don't enable RTX, then you're fine. Does Redfall run higher than 60 FPS? Blah, blah, blah. Why minor complaints? Does anybody have actual issues? Somebody called it a masterpiece, so I mean, that's new. Oh, I gotta see this. This game is a masterpiece playing on Game Pass. I love the story and cutscenes in this game. Xbox makes the best games. Ah, yes, Michelangelo. What? You don't understand art. Art is smart. Looks like the original poster is fishing for clown awards. Don't give it to them. That is what they want. Give them to me instead. Gave original poster a clown. Oh, that is hilarious. Oh, I see. So he's getting clown awards. Okay, gotcha. All right, well, Redfall. Apparently nobody really needs help. They're just talking about the optimization of it, so we'll just leave it alone. There's nothing that we can help with it. Oh, is that a whole video?
I feel like vampires are one of the few things that gaming has really yet to.
Okay. Well, we're not going to watch 24 minutes of somebody talking about a video review. but apparently it's super buggy. Got it. All right, well, we'll just go ahead and continue on helping people. The video for today, we're going to do Star Wars Jedi Survivor. We're going to do part 2 of it, of just me doing stuff. And yeah, so we'll do that. This one is actually pretty interesting. I think this is like the second area. So yeah, there's that. Alrighty, and without further ado, let's get started in helping people. Let's make sure this is good. This is good. Okay, cool. Alrighty, let me pull up my groups and let's get it popping. Alrighty, so first one up here is PC turning on and then immediately off. A while ago, my PC stopped turning on. I got hot. Hold on one second. A while ago, my PC stopped turning on. It would turn on for a split second when I hit the power button and then right back off. I tried shorting the power button to see if it was a bad switch and still the same issue. I also found that my 24-pin connector was loose, but I took it out and put it back and still the same problem. What will happen is whenever I turn my PSU switch off and then back on, then hit the power button, the PC will turn on for a fraction of a second and then back off. The fan starts to spin, but then immediately stop as well. Any ideas of how to fix this? Well, that's not gonna be an issue with the button itself. It would have turned on for a split second if I hit the power button and then right back off. I shorted the power button to see if it was a bad switch and still the same issue. Okay. So he shorted the button. Okay, just to see if the switch was bad. Okay. So yeah, it's not gonna be a button issue if it's turning on and then turning right back off. If it's turning on then turning right back off, it makes me worried that either the 24 pin or the 8 pin is not exactly connected, or you have a motherboard problem. So, you know, it is starting and the fan starts spinning up and then they immediately die. That generally means that you have more so of a power supply issue than anything, or a motherboard issue. Well, typically with powering on and then immediately off, that is generally a power / motherboard issue. Motherboard issue is he said the 24 pin was loose. Is the 8 pin CPU cable loose as well? Be sure the cable is pushed in on both sides for the 24 pin and the 8 pin. Do you perchance have a replacement power supply you can test with? Just in case, you know, some people do have an extra power supply, they just don't use it because it's too low. Like for example, it's maybe 450 watt or 500 watt or something like that, or bronze or whatever. So we'll just go ahead and ask, because we're starting to get into that age where people may have more than one power supply because they may have upgraded because of the graphics card. So, you know, if they have a graphics card that has the 12 pin VHPWR, then some people are, you know, they may actually upgrade their power supply even though the power supply doesn't need to be upgraded. So we'll go ahead and ask him that and then go from there. Alrighty. This was kind of an interesting part in this. Like, I didn't know about those whole bombs and what they all did. And so you see me a whole lot of running around and trying to figure out exactly how am I supposed to handle this. But yeah, that was kind of interesting and not getting myself blown up. Alrighty, let's go to the next one here. Laptop crashes by touching it and other things. Oh, and other things. Okay, you have my attention. Let's see what you got.
Oké, en als je de onderkant aanraakt,
oh,
gaat hij spacen.
Short. That is a short, sir.
Oké, en als je de onderkant aanraakt, gaat hij spacen.
Okay, let's let him know. Alrighty, so let's go back. IdeaPad C340. My sister has a laptop that keeps crashing. It's a Lenovo C340. I looked at it some time ago, opened it up, cleaned everything. Things seemed to go better, but now it is back. I installed Linux, tried uninstalling drivers and updating, but it's still there. Now I might try to swap the SODIMM, apply new thermal paste. Well, quick question. Random black screens with moving screens, frozen screen, blue screen crash. Can also replicate the issue by flexing the frame of the laptop a bit. Okay. It looks, yeah. I was gonna say the same thing. So this looks like a short. Quick question. if you, and the reason why we can ask him this question is because he already mentioned earlier that he was talking about changing out SODIMMs. He already opened up, cleaned it. So this man seems to be some type of computer illiterate. So we might as well just go ahead and ask what we want to ask. This looks like a short. Quick question. If you plug a second monitor into the laptop and disable the primary monitor on the laptop, does the frame, does moving the frame trigger the picture going in and out on the second monitor? So essentially we're bypassing it, right? So he's right. The other person down here that I just randomly looked at, where he was saying that it may be a short of a cable, but I was thinking that it may be a short as well, but I didn't think it was the monitor cable. I didn't know for sure what cable it was, but I wasn't about to play that game. It basically just straight up looks like a short. So let's bypass it. Go ahead and basically take that HDMI port on the back of your laptop and plug it into a monitor, and then in your device, in your display settings, go ahead and change that monitor to the primary and disable the laptop monitor, meaning that it's not using it at all, and then try moving it the laptop and seeing if it will also damage the second monitor. If the second monitor looks like it's going in and out, if it's not going in and out, then that's exactly what's happening. The cable may be pinched. If it's not going out, then the cable for the monitor may be pinched, as others have described below. Exactly. So yeah, that's what I would think here for that one too. But that definitely looks like a short. I mean, there's no way around that. That is straight up a short. If you start messing with the chassis and you start to see it go in and out like that, that's straight up a short. That's why I don't typically open my laptops. I generally just get some really good warranty and then just RMA them, because I don't mess with open laptops enough for me to be messing with that at that level. Now I may open it up to replace the NVMe or RAM or something like that, but I'm generally not going to go into it and then try cleaning out the motherboard or taking apart the motherboard or taking the entire computer apart. That's just not something I would do. I would do that on desktops in a heartbeat, but not on laptops. It's just a little bit too dangerous, because it's rare, because I'm impatient. So there's a pretty good chance that I'm not gonna put it back the way I got it. You're gonna have like half the screws missing and the chassis be loose, because that's just kind of how I roll. But let's go ahead and go to the next one here. Alrighty, first PC build, what would you change? Okay, I'm down. I currently use a Dell XPS 15 with an i7-7700 HQ, which is pretty old, but I mean, a 7700 isn't exactly bad. I mean, my little sister has one. And a GTX 1050. I plan on playing some games on the computer I'm building, Forza and Warzone. I also do some web development. Is there anything you would change about the build? Also, we'll be buying a 3070 off eBay for around $350, so overall price will be under $1,100. With a 3070? That's cool. 3070 does pretty good in okay, let me, so everybody can see that. So his components, he's going with a 5600, a B550, 32 gigs of RAM. It's 3070, but ignore that one because he's getting a used one off the market. And then a fractal case, that's fine. 650 watt gold, that's fine. Deep cool CPU cooler, 1 terabyte NVMe. I mean, I don't really see anything wrong here. AM4 B550, yeah, that's right. For 5600, that's right. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong here. I mean, is there anything else that he would need? No, not really. Yeah, can I see that? Yeah, there's nothing after here. Let me see. Oh, yeah, I can see it from here. Oh, no, you can't. Okay, well, never mind then. Why does PC Builder do that? Why does it come out on the... Well, now I know that, but below that power supply is an NVMe and a CPU cooler. That's all. And nothing else. But he's at 1100, but it'll be a little under 1100 once he replaces the 3070. But yeah, I don't see anything wrong here. It looks perfectly fine to me. It looks like a regular build, bro. Looks fine. Looks great. No issues with that whatsoever. However, but what kind of monitor are you going to use? May not get the best out of the 3070 if the monitor is 1080p 60 FPS. That's the only thing, is that we don't really know the monitor. So the monitor is going to change a whole lot, because I mean, if we were talking about a 3070, now granted Warzone is a little bit difficult to run, I give you that. Forza isn't, but if we are talking about like a 3070 and you know, and if it's running at 1080p 60 frames per second, I mean, you can run 1080p 60 frames per second with your current rig. I mean, it's not gonna be that much of a difference. But if you have plans on upgrading it to like a 2K 120 or something like that, or a 1080p 144, then I got you. But yeah, a lot of this is gonna hinder on your monitor, because you may not even notice a difference depending on what you use. The reason why I say that is because he has the 7700 HQ and the GTX 1050. If he was running that at 1080p, you know, 60 frames per second, he may not notice much of a difference, because Forza and Warzone at 1080p can give you 60 FPS. Should be okay at medium settings, you know what I mean? So I don't know if this would actually benefit him at all, but we'll see depending on his monitor, because it looks like he's trying to stay under budget. And if that monitor is 1080p 60 frames per second, he may not even notice the upgrade. he kind of in that area, you know what I mean? So yeah, I would go with that and just see what you get. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. Alrighty, so this is from Run the Place. Hey, look at you, I figured it out. Poor audio from LG monitor. Okay, to be fair, I don't know of any monitor that has great audio. Any normal monitor, not portable monitors. There are portable monitors that have great audio, but not the stationary ones. Poor audio from LG monitor. I recently bought an LG monitor and a Creative Pebble 2.1 speaker, since the monitor has no internal speakers. Whenever I connect the speakers to the monitor, I get poor, terrible quality audio, but if I plug the speakers directly into the PC, the sound is fantastic. Has anyone had the same issue, or what is happening? Well, I don't know of anyone that trusts the audio from that's a bad place to fight him. I don't know if there's anyone that trusts the audio from a monitor. It's usually hit or miss. It's usually hit or miss. Is there a reason why it needs to be into the monitor? Are you using a second input? So it's better to go ahead and question the question than to answer the question in this particular scenario, because if it's a brand new LG monitor and the audio is trash, well, audio is trash on all monitors. I don't care what it is. I don't care what you plug up into it. I don't care what you do to it. Audio is always trash on monitors. They know this. So with that one there, it's better to question the question than to answer the question, because there's nothing that we can really do here. If it's a brand new one out of the box and the audio is trash, then the audio is trash. So, but at the same time, does it need to be better? I mean, technically, if you plug it into your computer and everything is fine, unless you're saying, hey, no, I have a Nintendo Switch, I have an Xbox, I have this, I have that, and because of that, I wanted to have good audio. Now you got me. So now, you know, it's like, okay, well, if that's the case, you may need to swap out your monitor with a different one that has better audio quality, because it appears that this one does not. So you see what I'm saying? So that's the reason why we say it that way. But yeah, we'll just go with that and just ask them. But yeah, most monitors, I've never run into one that just had, oh my God, this is just banging audio. Like, it just doesn't happen. Now TVs, some TVs have good audio, but generally most monitors don't. Ooh, aren't you pretty? I want to this DualSense. All right, yes, those are words and they form a sentence kind of. But yeah, that is pretty though. That is a dope controller. Not gonna lie. That would be pretty sweet though. They should have had that for like God of War or something. That would have been so cool. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go to group 2. Group 2. Oh yeah, this was the Netflix one. Netflix app not streaming in 4K. And let me turn on the Xbox and the PlayStation. Okay, as per the title, all 4K games show at 1080p resolution. Oh, I remember this. So on this one here, I think we question his network speed, and then we question, I'm guessing he meant MTU 800. Okay, so we were questioning his network speed, and then we were questioning his package for Netflix. And we said, okay, we were making sure that he meant that MTU 1800, he wasn't getting 180 and having literally small packets. But he said, okay, and I said, okay, so what happens if you uninstall Netflix and reinstall? Does it give you 4K then? If I recall, Netflix may have a package that is only 1080p, not 4K. Do you get 4K in Netflix elsewhere? Yeah, I can get 4K Netflix through my TV's app. The problem lies with the Xbox app, which is a shame, as the Xbox app is more stable than TV's apps. Well, that's because the Xbox processor is better than TV's processor. So 4K Netflix, let's look that up real quick just to make sure we're not going crazy, because there's not a whole lot we can do. I mean, I don't have Netflix installed. Well, I have it installed, but I don't have it logged in. So Netflix only shows 1080p on Xbox. This is what I was thinking, that there was more than one, and y'all can barely see that. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay, too big. You know what? Forget it. So whenever I was looking at it, I was thinking that there was different ones. So they have a premium that had the 4K plus the HDR and video quality as best, and be to check your Netflix plan and settings, which is what we already told them to do, and blah 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 blah. Yeah, no, never mind, this doesn't really say a whole lot. I was hoping that it actually gave us more information. Is this the same person that we've been helping? For some reason, my Netflix app only shows 1080p when you press right analog stick, whereas before it used to show 2160 as it's playing 4K. It says Atmos Vision on the film details. It's just a glitch and still playing 4K. Not sure what else to do. Still only 1080p. Did anyone find out what's going on? No other apps are affected by Netflix. It's 4K through my TVs. The same thing, since some shows say 4K. I mean, it's on films. I was watching a show the other day, blah, blah, blah. I pay for a 4K package, so they better sort it out. Same here. Okay, maybe this is something that's relatively new, because it's only 6 days ago. Okay, this looks like it's playing 4K. Don't know what's happened now. Okay, so let's link him this. Okay, and black screen. No, this one. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, we looked this guy up, and it appears to be an issue with Netflix, as multiple people are complaining when they press the right joystick, they no longer have the 2160p option. Oh, sorry. There we go. Yeah, so it looks like there's some people that are already complaining about it. So yeah, it appears that this may be an issue with the application itself and not something that we can actually troubleshoot. I mean, his download speed and upload speed is fine. His MTU is fine. And then on top of that, he does have the package that allows him to have 4K, because he gets 4K everywhere else. So I'm thinking that's probably what's happening with him. And it's just something that Xbox is going through. I will go ahead and try to download, oh, I'm sorry, not download, but log into Netflix. It's just that I can't log into Netflix live, obviously, because, you know, it's not exactly the best thing to do. But yeah, this didn't click for me. Essentially, you're supposed to pull it and then push it to him and then knock him out. But yeah, because I want to do everything the hard way, I decided that no, I'm better than that. But you know what? I feel like I should zoom out a little bit. So no, this is fine. So it's is it? Let me see. Let me make sure real quick here. Star Wars. No. This is fine. It's zoomed out as far as it should be. Okay, we'll let it go. Alrighty, let me lock it so I don't do anything stupid. All right, let's go and go to the next one here. Alrighty, and let's see. This is from Sean Don. Wow. Sean Don writes, he has a black screen on his Xbox Series X. When I turn on my Xbox Series X, it just has a black screen, but when I hold the Xbox button on the controller, the menu to turn off the console and controller comes up. Ooh. Also, when I unplug and plug it back in, the Xbox logo comes up and it plays and starts to sound like normal, but then it says on screen, stays on screen for much longer than it should, going to the black screen. What should I do? Wow. Okay. So what he's saying is Xbox. He doesn't get here, but he really does get here, right? Because okay, so whenever he was booting up, it was just showing the logo whenever he was booting up. But when he closes down by holding the button, he sees this. This actually shows up. So basically this shows up, but the actual background screen doesn't. So this more than likely will be either the drive is full or a wipe. That's what I would go with here. So let's go ahead and go back here and let's talk to him about it. So for this one, it sounds like you would need to reinstall the Xbox software since it appears to be functioning as it's giving you the turn off screen notification when you hold down the X button. I can't really post links in the tech support forum, but you can just Google reset Xbox console, and that should point you in the right direction. If this does not work, let me know. Not work, let us know. I was always debating on this one here, if it would interfere. Like, I can't hear what you guys hear, so I always worry that if I was to, like, for example, enable the audio, if it would actually interfere with me talking. It's low, it's pretty low, and it's only sitting at about -45 decibels, but the music is also sitting at about -50 decibels, and I didn't know for sure if it would actually interfere. But for right now, I would go ahead and, well, I'll just leave it turned off, but in this part here, I'll just notate it so I can go back and listen to it to see exactly how it sounds. Because I don't, like, for example, we're going to do this a lot, right? So for most games that come out, we're going to basically show the game as we're troubleshooting and helping people. So, you know, there's maybe situations where it may be too loud. Like we had last week where I had a game that I was playing that was louder than my voice, which usually rarely ever happens. I'm usually very, very good about that, but sometimes I mess up. And I don't like having streams where the audio is messed up because I pride myself in having really good audio quality. So, you know, it's one of those kind of situations. It's like you want to, but it's not ideal because I can't hear what you guys hear. I only hear when another device or another sound stage is actually happening. Like, for example, if we open up a YouTube video, I hear that. If we open up Xbox or PlayStation, I hear that, but I can't hear the whole audio and the music playing in the background. I don't hear all that. Plus, if I did, it would throw me off. So yeah, we'll just go with that. Just let us know if that doesn't work. But yeah, this sounds like a straight up wipe. I mean, if it's not able to load the operating system, that's going to be a wipe for the Xbox because you just don't have too many options there. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. This is from Rexer Gaming YT. How often do you guys upgrade? Where do the old parts go? Apparently in a drawer. I'm tired of paying for the PlayStation Plus, so I decided to join the PC Master Race. Oh, welcome aboard. I gathered over 220 games on Epic Games with a couple dozen of good games. Wow. On Epic? Wow. But I have some questions as I'm new to all this. I've done some research and I'm on a budget and saving up, so I figured the best option for me would be a Ryzen 5 4600G without a dedicated GPU at the start and then upgrade later on. That's fine. This sounds old. Because he said 4600. I'm guessing he's going laptop. I'm worried for future upgrades. I'm planning on getting the A520M motherboard with a 4600G, 16 gigs of 3600 RAM because of the integrated graphics. Will this hold out? Also, I always see everyone upgrading PCs every year. Where do the old parts go? Do they just shove it in a box in the closet or sell them online? I consider getting used parts, but they're mostly on working or more expensive than the new ones for some reason. I'm not being cheap because I'm a cheap guy. It's nothing wrong with being a cheap guy, bro. You have to at some point in your life. It's because I really can't afford something good right now. I'll only be able to build it over the course of a year and a half. Thanks in advance. Well, you know, a lot of people wonder about this. Like for example, whenever I had all those miners and stuff like that and those graphics cards, a lot of them I donated. I just gave away, or I built computers for people, or I sold some of them. Like for example, the stronger graphics cards, like I had 3060s and 3070s, sold all those because those were actually a profit. And then I took that money and then I used that to buy the 4090. So typically that's usually what I do with my graphics cards. I basically sell them and then use it to buy another graphics card. But because I always had plans on building this live stream, I kept the higher end ones. So I kept my 6900 XT, I kept my 3090, and obviously I kept my 4090. So now we have a Ryzen build that we can test. We have a 3090 build that we can test. And then of course we have the 4090 build that we can run games on and test. So for me, I keep 3 of the higher end ones, and all the other ones I generally sell or give away. Or I create builds for like parents and family and stuff. So that's typically what I do. But you know, everybody's going to be different with what they do with their previous components, because some of them may not be worth selling. I mean, sometimes in certain areas it may be kind of dangerous to sell components, and eBay is a pain because people can return stuff and it wastes you more money than it's worth. So some people just kind of throw them away. But yeah, it depends. Most sell. But yeah, it depends. Most sell their used components, but most don't fetch a profit. Most don't fetch a profit. That's not even a sentence, and that sounds terrible. But my mic cable is in the way, but most don't fetch a profit. so they generally just throw them away or build PCs for family members. Alrighty. Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, when it comes to used components, like the other part of his question, I typically don't buy used components unless it's something that's rare. For example, the 3090 XC3, which is 3090 XC3. This guy right here, the 3090 XC3, this guy I did because this guy is it's the strongest 2-slot card. And that's why I bought this guy, right? I don't know why it took me to a page that doesn't even have it, but if we go to images, you guys can see what I'm talking about here. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, the 3090 XC3. So I did buy this one, and I bought it on Amazon used because Amazon used at least has a warranty for a month. And this, at the time, it was the strongest 2-card slot. This is the one that's running in our lab rig, and it's also my portable rig. So when I travel, I kind of take it with me, even though I'm getting ready to build a new one. But the 3090 XC3 was great because the 3090 gave you some of the best graphics, and it was portable, and it was only 2-slot, which is something that most cards nowadays don't have. Now, I do realize that NVIDIA is getting ready to make 4070 type cards that are 2-slot and smaller, but a 4070 and a 3090 is about the same thing. So or they're equivalent, you know, they're on the same scale or spectrum. So because of that, you know, and on top of that, it doesn't use that crazy 12 pin. So this may actually be a little bit more functional. So yeah, that's the reason why I bought this guy. But yeah, some people outside of that, I don't generally buy used CPUs. I don't buy used RAM. I don't buy anything that can fault badly. Every now and then I may buy a used graphics card, but if I buy a used graphics card, I always buy it from Amazon because it comes with a warranty. Sometimes I'll buy it from eBay, but eBay can be kind of cumbersome. And on top of that, sometimes you can go to eBay and buy a product and just realize you bought the picture of the product and not the product itself. So just bear that in mind. That's the reason why I would rather buy used from Amazon than anyone else. So just a warning for those of you who are looking to buy used. All right, let's go and go to the next one. Ooh, Lord, look what he did. All right, let me maximize so y'all can see that. PlayStation 5 burned. My PS5 HDMI port burned. WTF, it was plugged in, that's all. Well, your cable got extremely hot. It doesn't look like it got chewed or anything. It just looks like maybe, I don't know. Why is there an outer cover here? You know what I mean? Like, for example, if the HDMI cable was in there, it's almost like he had to try to wiggle it. Or maybe it was bent or bending. But yeah, maybe it was bent or bending. I mean, like, did he have it hanging from a tree? I don't even know what could cause something like that. Like, was it hanging from a tree or hanging by the HDMI cable from said tree? LOL. The burn marks are not consistent. The burn marks are not consistent. Almost as if it was man-made. Yeah, it's not consistent, bro. Generally, if something burns, it's gonna burn consistently. And I mean, even if you look, like, for example, like there was a fire nearby me, and even if you look at the source of the fires, like the splash pattern of where it happens is like circular, right? Because it kind of explodes. So even burn marks, typically it's gonna be some type of shaped. This right here looks like it's almost man-made. Like it's not even the same. Like this right here doesn't match this right here. This doesn't match this. It looks like somebody took a knife, and because the HDMI cable was kind of like, if you look at it, the motherboard and the back of the chassis, you can see that it's off, right? Because the Ethernet cable is also off. So maybe he realized it and then he tried to fix it by basically making this hole bigger. That's what it looks like. It looks like the chassis and the motherboard is off. Therefore, he tried to make the hole bigger so he could put his HDMI cable in. That's what it looks like. Looks like one of your mates took to it with a lighter, and why the F is it still plugged into power? Yeah, I don't know if a warranty would actually do anything about that. Well, it looks like somebody either took a knife to it or they burned it in order to make it larger so that it can fit, because, well, the USB port looks good. The Ethernet looks a little bit off, but that's the first thing I thought of. But yeah, somebody burned it. Burned it with like a lighter. A lighter can do something like that because you can see the pattern here. That maybe a lighter can do something like that. But yeah, whatever. Alrighty, this is from Trick Scientist. Xbox Series X closes my games. Hi everyone, this is my first post and I'm looking for help from the Reddit community. I have a problem that my Xbox Series X closes some of my games constantly. I'm playing and suddenly when going from one cinematic to another, it closes or doesn't go past the loading screen. Some of the games that are always closed are 12 Remake, Soul Hackers, Life is Strange, True Colors, and Hi-Fi Rush, all fast games. Or somewhat fast games. And then he said, I said, well, all of these games on an external drive or the main drive? He said, they're all on the main drive. And I said, okay, well, what would happen if you change the resolution to 1080p 60 frames per second? Does this resolve the issue? It worked in the case of Life is Strange, True Colors in the first cinematic, but I went back to the 4K TV and the problem persisted with the other games. It kept crashing at the same time. What has been happening lately is that the console says that my account does not have access to Ultimate and I have to be restarting. Okay. Okay, so does every time it restarts, does it say you do not have access to Ultimate? Also, when you say you went back to 4K, do you mean you changed the resolution back to 4K? Change the resolution back to 4K? Did 1080p work on other games outside of Life is Strange, STRANGE, outside of, sorry, I cannot spell, outside of Life is Strange. Yeah, I need to know. I'm not really sure what he means by this, but when I back to the 4K TV, like if he changed it to a 4K television or if he changed the resolution back to 4K, I need to know what happens on every single game at 1080p. And then we can go from there. Because once we know that, then we can know exactly what may be happening here. Because if every single game works and you're able to get past certain cinematics at 1080p, but as soon as you change to 4K, you have a problem, then yeah, it may just be an issue with your subscription, your account, something with the Xbox, so on and so forth, or the HDMI cable, so on and so forth. So yeah, we just need to know what happens when you have them all at 1080p at 60. Did he say 1080p? The problem persisted. Yeah, I'm sorry. I need to know exactly what you're talking about there. I'm not exactly sure what you mean. But keep us posted, Trick Scientist. Alrighty, Group 3. Let's do this. Group 3. Atlas Exotic. Game saying installed on internal but isn't on PS5. Okay, so we're talking about Destiny this time. So Destiny 2 on my PS5, and it had an update. It wasn't updating and my PS5 was being weird, so I went to rebuild database and it, for some reason, it removed the game off the PS5, but I go to library and it says it's installed, but I can't play it. Any help? Okay, so he downloaded Destiny 2 for the PS5, and it had an update. It wasn't updating and my PS5 was being weird, so I went to rebuild the database for it. For some reason, it removed the game off the PS5, but I go to library and it says it's still installed, but I can't play. Okay. So what I'm going to tell him to do is on his PS5, if I wake up my PS5, is essentially what we want to do here is we want to go to the settings and then we want to go to that game and we want to just straight up uninstall it and have him re-download and see what he gets. Now, of course, you know, if he has some bandwidth limitations, then we'll reach that when we get to it. But basically system, storage, and then go to console and then games and apps. He's saying that he sees it here. So I'm saying delete it and then re-download it and see what he gets. I don't want to delete Genshin Impact on there, so let me just hit B. But, wow, B, circle. So with this one, in the settings, storage, games and apps, go ahead and delete the game that it shows there and re-download. Does this resolve the issue? Yeah, just straight up delete it, bro, and then re-download it. It seems like it may have had some issues trying to download that update, and because of that, it looks like it's corrupted. So if it's corrupted, let's go ahead and try to delete it and then re-download it. See, in fact, you mentioned that you didn't mention that you have this issue in other games. So we'll see how that goes. Alrighty. Next one up is Overscore. Don't know if this goes here, but I found this file in my students data folder. Is it safe? It's called lightning.exe. Well, we were just talking about Final Fantasy Lightning, but for Final Fantasy though, the game file, the executable, is never called Lightning. Even in Lightning's game, it wasn't called Lightning. Experiencing. Why would he try to open it? Windows key misconfig. Lightning should still work. Lightning services. Lightning service. Lightning.exe. Lightning download program developed by Headlight. The software is used. Okay, let's see. Headlight software. The software is about 5.46 megabytes inside. The exe extension displays and executable, in some cases executable files that can damage your computer. Please read following to decide with yourself. Blah blah blah. Lightning download lightning.exe and not elsewhere to confirm. Blah blah blah. Another tool. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. If you had any difficulty with the executable, find its location. If you suspect that you might be affected. Headlight software. I just uninstall it. You should not delete a safe executable file without a valid reason, as it may affect performance. According to various sources, 3% of people remove this file, so it may be harmless. Yeah, I don't think with a name like Lightning, it would be something that is really bad, but I would just uninstall it. So this is a teacher, but I found this on my students data folder. Is it safe? Well, delete it and remove it from the trash can. Oh, delete it and delete it from the trash can. If it's in the root directory, C, then go to start control panel and remove programs, uninstall program, and see if it's there. If it is, uninstall. If it is, then uninstall. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. We'll do it on Windows 10 because we already have it up. Windows 10. So all we really said is go to start control panel, and then oh, I'm sorry, it's programs and then uninstall a program. So programs, uninstall a program, and he just has to go through here. So programs, uninstall a program. Make sure that's Windows 10. So Windows 11 is going to be somewhere around the same. So let's make sure that he knows. So programs, uninstall program. There we go. Comments are locked. Oh, he already deleted it. I guess he already figured it out. Here, let me copy just in case I'm not going crazy. Oh, he may have put it in the wrong location, so they probably locked it. Yeah, they locked it. Moderators killed it. He probably had it in the wrong location. I don't know why. It's not in the wrong look. Whatever. I don't really get into that. Some of the questions and replies that I give, they get removed by moderators. Not anymore, but when I first started, like half the things I would type and let people know about, it would get removed. But now I think they may know me by now, so maybe they don't delete anything that I say. But they used to delete it like left and right. It was so annoying. Like you'll do a whole show and half of the answers that you gave would get deleted. It was so frustrating. But now it's a lot better. So oh well, I'll leave it alone. All right, let's go ahead and go to the end. Oh man, did it straight up delete? Oh, whatever. We'll play. It basically deleted one of my tickets. I'm not sure which one, so we'll just go ahead and move on. This is from George the user. PS5 online functions not working properly. Hello there. For about a month now, I've been having issues with all the online functions of my PS5. Lots of things never seem to load for me. Friends list, PS Store, game images on trophy list, game icons on the library, etc. Using the test internet connection option or turning off on internet does fix the problem for me, but only for a very short period of time. Does anyone know of a fix? I can still play my games online without any problems, but it's very annoying having to deal with this every time I log on. Sure, of course we can help you with that. That's kind of like our forte. So basically we just want to go down to network, and then we want to do a test internet connection. I want him to give me what he sees there. Also, we want to try wired instead of wireless. Okay, sure. So go to settings, network, run a speed test, and let me know the results of the download and upload speeds. Also, is the PS5 wireless? If so, connect it wired directly to the router to see if it resolves the issue. Wow. Apparently issue no longer has an E in it. So yeah, that's what I would do on this one here. I would basically just hook it up wired, see what your speed is, and then go from there. It could be that, you know, he says it's fine whenever he restarts it or whatever. So apparently he may just be having some issues with Wi-Fi connectivity, but that's essentially what you would do to troubleshoot a Wi-Fi connectivity issue. So yeah. All right, let's go ahead and go to group 4. So this is from, I think we call him Vug. Threats found, icon won't go away on Windows Defender. Oh yeah, we talked about this whole icon thing he had. So basically he had an ISO file that it was detected as malicious, so he deleted it, but then he noticed something and then he tried to re-download it and he was still having problems, so on and so forth. So he said, next day I reinstalled the same file in the same directory because I figured maybe it was looking for the file. So it still loads infinitely when I try to take action on the flags. How do I get rid of the threat? And I said, well, did you try to empty your recycle bin? I removed the ISO file, or basically just search the directory from it or for it. And he said, I kind of just gave up. And I said, okay, well, you can search your computer for the file. If you know the file name, just search the C root directory and File Explorer to see if it picks up. Let us know how that goes, or if you have given up, LOL. And then I let him know that we have a channel, and then he said, thank you very much. So he's given up. So that, is that an L? No, he gave up. So we'll call it an assist trophy. Thank you, Luca. I appreciate the dime, even though you're not in the playoffs. So we'll go ahead and accept that assist trophy, even though it didn't turn out the way we wanted. But I mean, it's gonna be like that sometimes if you're trying to troubleshoot an issue and it's really not that worth somebody's time. They'll typically just kind of be like, whatever. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much though, especially if he doesn't need the application. Alrighty, so this is from Messman Reddit. I think the X is silent. Laptop troubles. My laptop started to have some issues yesterday, and fidgeting around with the charger and brick made it work, but only got up to 8 to 14% before it stopped working again. But then after a while, it just stopped charging permanently, and now the computer is dead forever. Is there a possible fix? Will using a different charger, or is this an excuse for my dad to get me a better laptop? My computer is an HP. Okay, my laptop started having some issues yesterday, and fidgeting around with the charger and brick made it work, but only got up to 14% before it stopped working. But then after a while, it just stopped charging permanently, and now the computer is dead forever. It's not. Yeah, replace the AC adapter. Yeah, replace the AC adapter with a new one to see if it charges. he wouldn't be he or she wouldn't be the first person to get a new computer out of their parents, even though they don't need one. Funny story. I was okay, I go to Best Buy a lot, right? And so whenever I go to Best Buy, a lot of people know me because I used to work at Best Buy, or they may have seen me work a technical issue, or I'm usually talking about technical products when I'm at Best Buy. So this lady walks by with her kid, and I don't know, I think I was talking about tech to somebody, and she walked past and she was like, hey, what do you know about this product? I don't even have a Best Buy shirt on, mind you. I was just talking because I know the manager, right? And we were just talking about tech and stuff like that. And I was like, I know everything about that product, because she was buying a, oh God, what was the name of that laptop? It was a, oh God, what's the most popular freaking laptop that you can buy at Best Buy? Best gaming laptop. My mind just went blank. I'm so sorry. Legion. It was the Legion. So she was buying a Legion, right? The kid was like 8. Okay, so the kid was like 8, and she was like, hey, do you know anything about this product? I was like, yeah, of course I know everything about that product. Have you met me? And so she was like, oh, okay. And she was telling me, like, she was like, hey, I'm looking to buy this Legion for my son. And he plays mostly Fortnite. And he said he had a laptop and the laptop just wasn't fast enough. And now he wants to get this Legion here. And I want to know if it's a good buy. I was like, Yeah, but you do know Fortnite can like run on a phone, right? Like he probably can run it on the computer he had. And she was saying, well, he was saying that it wasn't working and that he wanted something stronger. And this is the one that he chose. You think it's a good deal? I was like, yeah, this can run Fortnite and Call of Duty and everything else you want to run for here for the next 8 years. This man is good. And the little boy was like, he looked at me. The little boy looked at me like this. I've never had an 8-year-old tell me to shut the hell up. He was like, you better not say motherfucker word. You better not. I swear to God, if you ruin this for me, when I turn 18, I'm gonna come after you. I was like, yeah, girl, you good. That will work. That will most definitely work. Of all the laptops here, that will most definitely work most of all, for sure. I mean, she had it maxed out too. It was like a 3080 on it. Like I was like, oh my God, you're running a 3080 just to run a Fortnite? Are you insane? But hey, I'm not about to get into it. It's none of my business. I was like, yeah, of course, this can run Fortnite and any other game that you wanted to run. I mean, it was crazy. He was like, I was like, what kind of games you play? He's like, Fortnite and Minecraft. I was like, yep, that's definitely strong enough. So I was cracking up. I was like, man, I've never had that death stare given to me by a child. But he was looking at me like, shut the hell up. What you trying to do? You're trying to ruin this for me? I was like, hey, man, you go do your thing. I'm just going to mind my business. And I just walked away. I was like, yeah, this is going to be a great laptop. Congratulations. And I just left. But yeah, man, that boy, he looked at me like, you better shut up. But yeah, on to the question. Was there a question? I feel like there was. Laptop troubles. Oh yeah, it was laptop troubles. Yeah, replace the AC adapter with a new one to see if it changes. Or to see if it charges. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like this person just wants to kind of get a new laptop, but that's what I would do here. But even if I say this, I don't think he'll do it, because if he can convince his father to get him a new laptop, then what's the point? You know what I mean? You know, if he can get a new laptop, he'd probably go with that. But yeah, generally you just replace the AC adapter on something like that. Alrighty, and it is weird image stuttering. Anyone face this? Oh, okay, I'm down. Let me go like this. And I do like the fact that some of these games, you know, and the way we have it set up, this is intentional, by the way, is that, you know, the text, you can still see it even though they're talking and the audio's not up. Like, that's intentional, because I don't want to have the audio and them talking and then me talking over them. You know what I mean? So you won't be able to hear it anyway. So I like keeping it like that. That way, you know, you can see the text in the middle of the screen. But let's go ahead and watch this video to see what he's talking about. Let's maximize it so we can all see. I'm sorry, I can't hear. Is my headset off? Yeah, it is. All right, let me go back to beginning here. Doom? Yeah, Doom. What did he just show us? Oh, the fringing. So if you look at the bottom of the screen, you see how it's changing colors and loading maps and not loading maps. So yeah, that sounds like it may be a memory issue or a graphics issue. It can be either or. And when I say graphics issue, I could mean graphics memory, graphics, or memory. Weird image stuttering. Anyone face this? Yeah. Generally a graphical issue, graphical memory issue, or memory issue. I would start by updating the graphics driver for the GPU. Next up, I will go ahead and remove any overclock on the RAM to see if that resolves the issue. Finally, what resolution and FPS are you running Doom at? Because it also can be a frame rate and tearing kind of situation, because his monitor may be 60 and it's only getting, you know, 25, 30 FPS. As it could also be screen tearing. Yeah. So something about memory, screen tearing, overclocks, you know, So yeah, that's what I would think of. But yeah, let us know how that goes and get back with us. Alrighty, let's go ahead and switch off and let's go to the next one here. Is it? I feel like it's not picking up where it left off. I feel like because we were talking to that lady at first. Loop. Restart playback when source speakers show nothing when playback ends. No, it's doing right. It's just that I left it on, so it was continuously running even though I wasn't on that particular scene. I gotta stop doing that, but it's easier for me, but it kind of breaks people up if they were actually watching it, so I do apologize. I gotta figure out a better way to do that, but there may not be anything that can be done, but it is what it is. All right, let's go and go to the next one here. Alrighty, so this is from White Phoenix 207. White Phoenix writes, Xbox One power button does not work. Original model Xbox One power button no longer functions, and I now have to use a controller, and it no longer makes a noise when powering on. I've read that hard shutting it down and unplugging it can fix it, but I'm pretty sure that I can only turn it on with a controller when it's in sleep mode, and I'm worried if I do this, I may not be able to turn it back on at all. That shutting it down and unplugging it could fix it. Well, is it under warranty? If it's not, then I'd leave it alone. The reason, okay, normally I would not subscribe to his ideals as far as unplugging it and plugging it back in may actually damage it, but if he has a short, then him unplugging it and plugging it back in may actually short it out. And if he doesn't have warranty, it's not ideal. So I cannot dismiss the fact that he may have a short. So if he does have a short, then it's not exactly in our best interest to have him go ahead and unplug it. If all he's lacking is a sound button when you press the power on, you see what I'm saying? It's not worth it, you know, because I can't say that a short could not be the issue. Therefore, there's no point in troubleshooting. Leave it alone. Like if you know, if you don't have it under warranty, then just leave it alone. Lost sound is not really an issue. Not really a big enough issue to risk it, as the issue could be a short. Keep it as long as you can. Now, you know, is it a low percentage? Of course, it's like maybe 2 or 3% chance that it could be a short, but I'm not about to play that game with him. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to, there's no point. Like, cause I mean, just think of how disastrous that could be if that 3% hits, you know what I mean? Like, people have had 3% hit at some point in time in their life. And if that 3% hits and it shorts his Xbox, he lost his whole console because he couldn't get sound on the power button when he turned it on. That's so stupid. I couldn't even co-sign that. You see what I'm saying? Like, that is crazy dumb. So I would not even tell him to do that. Like, there's no point. Like, if all you lose is the sound whenever it powers on, like, trust me, I barely notice it. So yeah, it's not that big a deal, bro. I would just leave it alone. Alrighty, this is from the Scraps, Xbox Series X graphical glitch. Oh yeah, we talked about this one here. You guys can see it directly from there. I don't even have to switch off. Sweet. So yeah, he's basically having some stuttering in Star Wars as we were loading Star Wars, but his is a little different. And so we said, well, what happens if you lower the resolution to 720p, 60 FPS? Does the flashing go away? Sadly, nothing changes between 4K, 1080p, 720, both 60 and 30. Jesus. What is he running it on? Oh, he's running it on the Xbox. Okay. Do you get this fringing in other games or in other locations in Jedi Survivor? We want to see if it persists or if it's only during the load. If it's only during the load, it may just be the game itself, or okay, well, it's a possibility that it could be drive. It's a possibility that it could be memory. But if it's memory, it would show itself in other game titles, and it will show itself in different locations. It's not discriminatory. So like if it's not going to just be on the load screen of Jedi Survivor, it's going to be everywhere, you know. So that's the reason why I'm thinking that it could possibly be, you know, you may have to uninstall, reinstall, but we'll see. So it's better just to go ahead and ask, okay, do you get this fringing in other games or in other locations in Jedi Survivor? Because that really is kind of going to point us in the right direction, seeing the fact changing the frame rate as well as the resolution does nothing. So it's not GPU prowess, in other words. But that checkerboard is really concerning there. It makes me think that you may have a memory issue, which, of course, is death on this device. Alrighty, and group 5. What time is it? Ah, we're doing pretty good on time. Ooh, isn't that pretty? Yeah, check that out. This is beautiful. It is pretty. How long is this video? Oh, it's only $2 or 2 minutes. All right, let's take a look. You have my attention. I always wanted to do something like this, but my nails aren't that pretty. My nails be all chewed up. It takes away from the aesthetics. Man, she has her skill set down to a T. Oh my God. There we go. Let's get to it. It's metal. Is that a GPU? Yes, it is. That is insane. Oh my God. Okay, that's the cleanest thing ever. I'm not even gonna lie. That is the coolest thing ever. Oh my God, that is so cool. Oh my goodness. What in the hell? What is this? What is this? That is the coolest thing ever. Hold on. What kind of chassis is that? I mean, obviously it only fixed that graphics card, but I mean, hey, I'm okay with that. If you tell me what graphics card it is. Did you tell the specs? Okay, yeah, it's a dual 3060 Ti. So that fits all of the 3060 Ti. So that fits the black version as well. I wonder if they have, okay, For Fun O2 Pro. Is that what it's called? For Fun O2 Pro? For Fun O2 Pro. For Fun O2 Pro. Well, that's who they are, but that doesn't point us in the right direction at all. Where did we go? Touch, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Here, let's look at it on YouTube real quick. Let me just see what kind of case this is, because that is clean. Show more. Yeah, I've never seen a case like this. 980 Pro PC005. Yeah, I'm not sure. It says For Fun O2 Pro. Huh. Okay. Well, that's kind of disappointing. I want the same thing. I have that exact card. Like, it's sitting in the other room on my couch. Let me just grab her settings, and let me just add it to my OneNote. I'll try to hunt this down and convert it to English so we can know exactly what case it was. But that is crazy good. That is crazy, crazy, crazy good. Can I translate from here? Hey, you can translate. got it. Here. Power supply. Black. Cooling. Chassis. Okay, so the chassis, the first one, that first character, For Fun 02 Pro, that says chassis. So the chassis is For Fun 02 Space Pro. That is the actual name of it. I don't know where this is located, but I'll try to find it. I would love to do a build like that, a blacked out build like that. That'd be pretty sweet, especially when it fits the actual graphics card that I have, because it basically fits a dual slot 3060 Ti, which is exactly what I have. So yeah, that's very interesting, but it's called the For Fun 02 Pro. All right, let's go ahead and close that guy out. Very elegant build. Where can you purchase that chassis? That looks smaller than the Dan Case A4SFX. Like if we look up the because we got to understand the Dan Case A4SFX can actually fit the 3090, so it's a big boy. This guy can only fit a 3060 2 slot, so it's super tiny. Dan Case A4SFX. Actually, you know what? What would be more fair would be the this guy. I don't even know what to call it. It's Velka 3. Velka 3. This is the Velka 3. I'm sitting here, obviously, like, hey, what would be crazy? A better way to call it, it's not the Dan Case, but the, and I'm looking at the chassis that I'm trying to remember the name of. It's like right in my face. Velka 3. Velka 3. It reminds me of this guy, right? The Velka 3, and how tiny it is, and how it can only fit a 3060, like anything less than 200 millimeters, I guess is the better way to say that. That one is the exact same way. But it may be a little bit smaller to accommodate it. But these look very, very similar between this guy and the one that they just showed. They look very, very, very similar in terms of size. Like, well, okay, this is actually much smaller. Well, it has to be large enough to fit the ITX, and then the power supply is right at the bottom. So, you know, it should be around the exact same size as the Velka, but the Velka's more square. Like if we look at it, it's like literally almost a square. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, how this guy stacks up against that one. It looks like that shroud that it had looked more custom than anything. So maybe he had to do, or she had to do a few different things, but still probably one of the sweetest builds I've ever seen in terms of compact and portability. All right, let's go and go to the next one here. So I'm sorry, let me switch it back to the game. So this is from Little JJ. And Little JJ writes, green lines on screen at 144 hertz, but not 60. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is a guy who was basically running a 2070 Super with 1440p at 144 hertz, but he was getting green lines. And then I was saying, okay, well, generally, if you're getting green lines at 144, if anybody who doesn't know this, 144 is actually an overclock. That's not exactly a resolution. Or I'm sorry, it's not exactly a normal frame rate. Normal frame rates are 30, 60, 120, 240. But even 240 can sometimes be an overclock, but generally 30, 60, 120, 240. If it's 144, then it's an overclock of 120. So what we were saying to him on this one here is that if you go 144 and you get green bars, then that typically means that the monitor is starting to not be able to display something at that high of a frame rate. So just come down a little bit, just go down to 120 and that should work. You also run into this situation, like if most people don't know this, but all monitors have some form of overclocking. Some may actually restricted, but most of them do. But you can't really go very high. For example, a 60 may only go to 72 frames per second, but it may not go to 74 frames per second. Does that make sense? But you're overclocking the monitor essentially, so you have to be careful with that. But generally, all monitors can have some form of overclocking. It's just not going to be much. So at 60, you may get to 72. at 120, you may get to 144. You see what I'm saying? So that's essentially what that is, because you can get an extra 12 frames. So times 2 is 24. So 24 plus 120 is 144. So that's where it comes from. So you can overclock even 60 hertz monitors to 72, or a little bit higher, maybe 1 frame higher, but at the same time, you're going to run into the same issue that he ran into. So it appears that just the 144 hertz overclock is maybe a little bit too much for the monitor to handle. So just take it down to 120. You won't even notice a difference. Not between 120 and 144, maybe 120 and 165 if you play a fast character like a Genji, a Moira, or just Doom Eternal. You know, generally super fast games, you may notice it, but if it's a slow game, you're not going to notice it at all. Hey, and he said it works on 120. Thanks. And that, my friends, is a W. All right, so we got a W and an assist trophy. Hey, we're doing good. Hey, I like the smiley face, Blind Via. I appreciate it. I don't even know how to return that. Cheerful. There we go. Return a smiley face with a smiley face. Those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, somebody gave me a smiley face on Kick, so I'm just replying with a smiley face. But yeah, it appears that we got that guy to work on 120 frames per second, which, you know, that's essentially what you do. So for everybody who is not aware, all monitors can typically overclock to some degree. It's just that 60 to 72 may not be all that useful, but 120 to 144 is, but sometimes it can cause issues. So just take it down a little bit, especially if you've had the monitor for a while. Like I've had 144 hertz monitors that got to the point where they didn't want to display 144. You take it down to 120 and they're fine. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go down to the next one here. This is from DVM 28BP, touchscreen monitor priority issue. All right, I have an Asus monitor with no touch, and I bought an ING Cool touchscreen for a projector to use as a secondary screen for Spotify and the touch to easily change songs. For those of you who aren't aware, you can buy external monitors with touch screens and add that to your computer to give you the touch feature. To be fair, you can also utilize an iPad's touch feature on other devices that aren't the iPad, like the MacBook as an extended monitor through Sidecar, or computers if you have the right device. Like it's called, oh, I have it. It's like this little pink device that you can plug into your computer, and you can use the iPad's second monitor and its touchscreen. So I just want to make that aware. If you have an iPad, you can also use the touch feature of the iPad even on Windows PCs. It's freaking awesome. But you have to have this device. I'll look it up if somebody cares, but neither here nor there. I'm just letting everybody know in case you weren't aware. I have an Asus monitor with no touch, and I bought an ING Cool touchscreen for a projector to use as a secondary screen for Spotify and the touch to easily change songs. That's silly though, because if you only got it for Spotify, generally on keyboards, they have the ability to change to the next song. However, this has caused an issue with the ING Cool wants main priority, but it messed my actual monitor, resulting touch only works with main priority. Is there a way I can make this so it is touch on just the second screen? Okay, so what he's saying is, okay, let's do it like this. Trying to think of a way to explain this. Oh, here we go. All right. So this is monitor 2 and this is monitor 1. He's trying to press touch buttons on this screen, right? So he's just like typing and trying to go to the next screen. However, what happens is if this guy is not primary and you're just watching YouTube videos, you can't then go and press next here. You have to click on the window and then press next. That's why this doesn't work. Does that make sense? Because this guy is not primary, this guy is. So this guy, you're watching YouTube and you just press next song on here, and that doesn't work because this guy needs to be primary. So you have to click it and then press next song. That is typically why you don't do it this way. Instead, all you do is get a keyboard that has you see this at the top? That is all you need. That right there is literally all you need. And that's how you change songs between Spotify, even though it's not the primary application. So he may have just gone a little bit wrong about this. You typically don't go that way. And this isn't with just this keyboard. This is on all gaming keyboards. I have yet to find one that doesn't have it. Some do, I mean, there may be some that don't get me wrong. It's just that typically if you have some type of a gaming keyboard, you're usually gonna have those options. And that works with most keyboards. Like I haven't run into one that it didn't work with. So I just wanna let everybody know, this is very, very common. I do this all the time. Matter of fact, not only do I do this all the time, I didn't buy an iPad because it couldn't do this. Like the iPad, if you ever notice the iPad, you can only play one audio source at a time. So if you wanted to, like, for example, watch the NBA finals while listening to Spotify, you couldn't do that. But you can do that on a regular computer, no problem, but you can't do that on an iPad. It's one or the other. This is why I know this by heart. I've always known this because it's always been a pain in the butt. But if we're talking about a Windows PC and the second screen is not active, it's always best to go with the keyboard than buying a touchscreen. He may be better off literally returning it and then buying a keyboard that has the media keys, essentially. So with this one, boop, you may be going the wrong way about this. Maybe going the wrong way about this. See, you can't actually touch a song to go to the next song without the window taking precedence, which is a pain. Instead, you use the media keys on your keyboard to switch tracks. It may be in your better interest to return that, buy a cheaper monitor, and then buy a keyboard that has media keys. And that's what will control Spotify. Now, there are certain situations where it may run into a few issues. Like, for example, if you have a YouTube video and you're playing sound, it may stop the YouTube video instead of stopping the audio, but that's minor. You know what I mean? You can usually figure out your way around that. That's really not that big of a deal. I run into that every now and then, but it's not really that enough for me to actually complain about it. So yeah, just let them know, like, that's not how you want to go about this. The reason why most people get touch is because, like, for example, if they're doing art and they want to be able to touch to change bristles, or if they want to have the touch screen in order to have some type of functionality with certain games. Like, for example, there used to be, well, it's not used to be, it's still there, but basically you can play mobile games on your PC. And if you play mobile games that have touch, you can actually use an iPad as the touch device and use that instead. So yeah, there's a few reasons why you would want touch. They're all very good reasons though, but not for Spotify. Spotify isn't a good reason for this. You use the media keys for Spotify. Osmium and APU concept, 2.8 liter 13600K. I don't know about so much about 13600K on this, but sure. That is extremely tight and that is extremely compact and portable. There we go. So, well, it looks nice. I like it. I mean, all it is these fans, it's not 92 millimeter, but they're really, really small. These are the same fans that they want to put in Sentries in order for you to get better cooling to the graphics card. But yeah, they're little tiny Noctua fans. They're really good though. And yeah, so basically this is like a very small APU. This is even smaller than the oh my God, what is that case called? Oh, I can't remember. Not From Concentrate. That's the name of his channel. Not From Concentrate. S4 Tiny. S4 Tiny. So S4 Tiny, if those of you aren't aware, the S4 Tiny is actually one of the best APU-based cases out there because it's very, very small and compact. I tried so hard, NFC. I tried so hard to fit something like a graphics card in it, but it's just a no-go. But I'm sorry, maybe it's not called Tiny, maybe it's called Mini. No, it is called Tiny. I'm not going crazy. Tiny. right here and right here. Yeah, it's like, it looks like this, but it's much smaller. Well, yeah, that's it. That's essentially it. So basically the S4 Tiny is exactly like this, but it can't actually fit a graphics card. It can only fit the CPU and the power supply. Lord knows I have tried. I bought an A2000 and tried to get it in there, but it won't work. So it just won't fit properly unless you do some modding, and I didn't feel like doing modding, so there you go. But S4 Tiny is probably one of the best APU-based cases, and this is very similar, but this is actually smaller than the S4 Tiny. So hey, if somebody can build something like that, that'd be pretty sweet. Alrighty, and back to your regularly scheduled programming, and we're gonna go to the next one. Potential rumor on Super Nintendo World Orlando. I'm down. I like video games and roller coasters. I work at a church with a friend of mine whose dad is currently working on Super Nintendo World in Orlando. For those of you unaware, Super Nintendo World is a new park, or a new section of the park in Orlando that's getting ready to open up. It has different rides that are themed towards Mario. He said his dad is very excited about the project and has talked about it in the house on multiple occasions. The conversation happened about 9 months ago and didn't cross my mind again until now. So details might be fuzzy. Warning, I could be absolutely wrong and this is bullcrap. Of course, a Mario World will be there, as almost basically is confirmed at this point. A Donkey Kong Land will be added later on after the first two are completed. And here's where my memory gets fuzzy. One of two things will be built, either a Legend of Zelda with a part of Hyrule Castle. On this note, I like to see Hateno Village personally, but I don't influence decisions. Or two, an Animal Crossing type part of the place. Most likely will be an add-on. I don't know about Animal Crossing. Okay, is Animal Crossing really, really popular? Sure. I think Zelda is more popular than Animal Crossing. But Animal Crossing can have have rides for children. So like, for example, if you take a look at, like, for example, Star Wars has rides that are more adult based. They don't really have, like, if you look at like Escape from Gringotts and what was the other one? The motorbikes. Those guys, those Escape from Gringotts and the motorbikes, I think that may actually be the same thing, but the one with the motorbikes, those are all kind of adult, but Harry Potter is more of a teenager adult kind of theme park. You know, like a lot of the kids' rides are like in the dinosaur land. So I wonder if they would come out with something like an Animal Crossing, because that seems like a go-kart kind of situation, you know, or a car type of situation, or a customization type of situation where you build, like you help build a community and help it grow kind of thing. But that's something that, you know, kids may be into, or, you know, younger adults. But I'm not sure if it's going to be something that, you know, the elderly or older adults would be into. So yeah, I would think Zelda would probably have a little bit more pull there, but it would be kind of cool to see an Animal Crossing. I'm not even gonna front, I would actually go just to see it. But yeah, the Super Mario World is actually being built in Orlando, so in case anybody had questions or was wondering. And last one here of the set ones, well, we're at 9, so this is gonna be the last one for today. Game chat randomly stopped working for every game. Anyone knows the solution? Okay, sure. Xbox Party and Discord are working. Okay, so the mic is working fine, but in every single game, my game chat doesn't work. This started about a week ago. I've tried restarting the Xbox and the headset and tried some things in the game settings, but no success. Does anyone recognize the problem and knows how to fix it? Sure. What happens if you remove the headset and set the audio to the speakers? Do you hear the game chat then? Also, if you, this is an Xbox, if you go to, let me see that location real quick here. Come on, wake up. We're not over with yet. Xbox be going to sleep like, hey man, my shift is done. So if we go to, let's see here, Xbox Party Chat and Discord. Okay, so TV and this volume and audio output, headset audio, speaker audio, speaker audio, advanced additional options, chat mixer. Okay, so we want to go to general, volume and audio output. So general, volume. Oh, I cannot spell volume. I know y'all can't see it. It's okay. Audio output. It's too much for me to memorize. Volume and audio output. And then additional options. My battery is low. I'm so sorry. Additional options. And then when we go to additional options, under party chat output, under party chat output, what is it set to? Go to settings. There we go. So switch back to work so everybody can see what I'm, well, actually, you know what? Let's go to Edge so everybody can see what I'm talking about. So if we go to Sure, what happens if you remove the headset and set the audio to the speakers? Do you hear the game chat then? Also, if you go to settings, general volume and audio output, additional options, under the party chat output, what is it set to? So yeah, that's essentially how you would work that issue. You would just essentially go into that additional output and see exactly what it has set up for the party chatting and kind of go from there. It really kind of depends on how he has his headset set up. Like for example, if it's going into the 3.5mm jack on the Xbox controller, or if it's like going into something on the back of the Xbox. So a lot of that has to do with like if it's USB port or something like that. But without further ado, just keep us posted there, Pomsky, and that is gonna be it. Whew, what a day. We helped a lot of people here. We got a couple of awards and assist trophies, and hey, that's a good way to start the day. So hope everybody had a good day or a good channel. We will be on tomorrow, but I do want to let people know that I will not be able to stream on Thursday because I have to go to Florida. so yeah, just letting everybody know there. So we will be stopping on Wednesday. I may do a later show, like a Friday, but we'll see how it goes depending on how much time I get. And that is going to do it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you... Ooh, press the wrong button. And if you like this video, go ahead, like button. If you really like it for him, go to subscribe. I love you either way. Take care. All the best and bye. I will see you tomorrow. Y'all have a good one and peace.